Hi, friend. Thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. If you're new, my name is Tara Long, and I don't even know how else to, to introduce myself. You could just take a look around and see what you see. But I do a lot of things, but mostly I do my best to just be and allow from that beingness whatever it is that I do, right? The inspired action. And that's part of being a dominant feminine polarity, is just allowing everything to come to me and then responding to that, or being, and then if I get inspired action, like to do this video, then I do it. But that's not what I'm talking about today. I just got sidetracked. What I want to talk about is healing. And I know that's a really loaded word, and I've been in the space of being a, natural health practitioner, if you will. We want to say that, a collaborator with my patients and clients, and I don't even like the word patient, for, 20 years now as an acupuncturist and herbalist and just all the healing, natural healing, health stuff. Not all of it, obviously, but a lot of stuff, hypnosis and life coaching. And it's always about going deep. But sometimes that depth is just to be and to allow yourself the space to not try to figure it out. I know that's so hard. If you are currently experiencing dis-ease in your body, or with your body, rather. I have, since I was a kid, experienced a lot of dis-ease in my body. And there's a reason for that, it's something my soul chose to do. And also there's physical reasons, right? Like, stories like we could tell, and none of it really matters, because all you have to do is be present now and with what is in this moment, and do your best to not think of the future. Because I'll tell you about a little experience I recently had. So when I was 15 years old, I got really, really sick, and I couldn't, eating almost anything gave me excruciating pain in my actual stomach, your stomach right below the ribs here, my actual stomach. So it wasn't intestinal, stomach. And so I went to the doctor, and because at that time, I was 15, my mom didn't know, and she took me to the doctor. That's what you do. So, after a long time, after a couple of years of them not even really believing, that I was too young, it was in my head or whatever, they did the endoscopy and said, "Oh, you have stomach ulcers." And I'm like, "Yeah, I've been telling you guys that." But I didn't know how to, what to do. I didn't know what to do. So of course I took medication, and stomach ulcers and gastritis, which is the inflammation of the lining of the stomach. And there's so much to get into there. I'm not going to get into that, because I want to get to the point of why I'm telling you this. So, and then I got, as a 20-year-old, I was 20 or 21, and I got acupuncture for the first time, because my Western medicine doctor was like, we've given you all the meds, it's not working, it doesn't work, or it'll work for a little while and then it doesn't, just so I could eat normally and whatever. She said, "So I'm going to send you to this acupuncturist." So I went, and it was the first and only thing that had ever actually helped me, because it was getting to the root and helping my body to heal itself. Fast forward, that's why I became an acupuncturist, because it was such a life-saving thing for me. And since then in my life, I have had episodes and bouts of this gastritis. No more actual stomach ulcers, but gastritis, which is the inflammation of the lining of the stomach. And so then I can only eat really bland, like oatmeal and bread and potatoes, which that's not my normal diet these days. I'm mostly fresh whole foods, protein, meats and veggies and fruits. And so and you know, throughout my life, I've had little bouts, and I know, oh, it's because I'm stressed, because that's where my stress will go, right? And so then I manage that, and you know, and then in a few weeks or so, it's better. But there's certain things I can't and never will be able to do, like drink orange juice or coffee or caffeine of any kind. You know, I'm like, oh no, and that's totally okay. I'm not missing that. But a couple weeks ago, this started, and it was like so severe, more severe probably than it's been since I was a kid. And I was like, what is going on? Because, you know, the body is always giving us a message. It's telling us something. And I'm like, okay, I feel great. I feel at peace. I feel, you know, like there's nothing in my life that is obviously out of alignment, or I don't do anything that's not in alignment, you know, all the things, right? And so, but there was a resistance to it happening. I was like, this should not be happening. I know how to deal with this, and I don't have stress. I don't, you know, I'm good. Like, what is going on? Well, many things, right? I mean, there's definitely collective something happening, and it's solar plexus, right? So, but, which is our confidence and expressing in the world, which I'm, you know, at this point, I'm pretty good at that. I don't censor myself. You can probably tell. I'm not one to censor myself and what I feel, and, you know, to others or to the world. Anyway, my point in saying all this is, you know, I really got off track and like not being surrendered, because when you're in pain, and a lot of pain, it is very challenging to do that. And if you've ever been in a lot of pain, which you probably have because you're a human on this earth, you know, you just want it to go. You're just like, what? I'll take anything outside of myself, like, right? And so I try, you know, supplements and different things, and of course, just eating really, really bland. And then I had a beautiful remembrance, which is something I've remembered a lot in my life, is that I don't need anything outside of myself in order for my body to balance. And it's really easy to get into fear mode, right? We have our two timelines I just talked about in the last video: fear, worry, doubt, or peace, love, trust. And so that just the remembrance of this timeline, and not going into the spiral of the fear, worry, doubt timeline, because when it's your body and you're in pain, it can be really easy to get out of, you know, or it was really easy, not really easy, but it took me out of my, you know, my center and my knowing. Of course I know this. Of course I know that I can trust my body. And of course you can do things to help alleviate, you know, pain and things like that. Short term. I'm all about like short term. Yeah, great. Let's do that. If it's going to help me to rest and things like that. But in the long run, it's nothing outside of you that is going to heal you. And if you think that to be the case, or expect that to be the case, or want that to be the case, soul, universe, the divine is going to keep showing you that you don't need that you are everything. You are everything. So as soon as I start, I have to say, because I'm an acupuncturist, I've been able to give myself acupuncture, right? I can't get everywhere, obviously, but I can get to, you know, some really important places right now. And that has, again, been a lifesaver for me. It works really well for me. So I'm not saying that we can't use tools outside of ourselves to help the body heal, but acupuncture is something that it allows the body, it gives the body a gentle nudge to heal itself, right? It's not doing it. There's nothing on the needle. People always ask me, is there something on the needle? No, it's just waking the body up in that area, right? And then there's an energetic function at that point, for example, to go, oh, this is what we're supposed to be doing. This is the body in balance. But because I was like, I gotta surrender to this. I gotta stop being like, why is this happening? Why? And trying to figure it out. Honestly, and I always ask soul, if there's something for me to know, if there's something for me to know about this, whether it's with my body or just a situation or whatever, a trigger, just show me, just show me. Because if my mind's gonna go and try to figure it out, it's not gonna work. It's 99% of the time that does not work, right? So it's surrender and listen, and just listen, just surrender and just listen and trust what you hear and trust that. Trust. And so it's just a beautiful reminder of like, I don't need anything outside of myself. I don't. And yes, I can, if it was like, oh, go do this or eat this or get this supplement or go see this person, to help your body in this healing process. Well, sure, then you're going to do that. But if it comes from the mind, like, I don't know how useful or helpful it's going to be, but if it comes from your soul pushing you, going, yeah, yes, because our soul, remember, has materiality. And it gives us a yes or no to things. If you're really in tune and you're really listening and it's not coming from the ego mind, you really can get the information of your soul is only leading you to what is best to joy, to the highest and best for you. So just if you're on a journey and something is challenging and maybe you're like, I don't know why this is happening. I feel like I've looked at everything. I have awareness of what's going on in my life, and it's an invitation to stop trying to figure it out and just let it be, because it's there for a reason, even if you never know what that reason is, even if the only reason is to allow you and to invite you to trust more deeply, to trust yourself, to trust your body, to trust your soul, to trust the divine, and to know that you are always taken care of and loved and guided, and just getting yourself back to that peace, love, and trust timeline, because again, you always have a choice. And I know sometimes it can be so hard to choose that over the fear, worry, doubt. And that's not just you. That's not just your thoughts, okay? And I've been wanting to do a video on this for a while, but I just haven't. And, there are other, let's call them shadow forces out there, who once you're in a vulnerable or weakened state, whoosh, they're coming in to get your mind to just focus on the fear, worry, doubt, because it keeps you in fear energy, and that's what those entities and energies feed off of. So it's not just you, okay? There's other things going on, and but whatever you have, whatever it takes to get yourself into, even for a glimpse or a glimmer of a moment, the peace, love, and trust timeline. Just doing something that is joyful, doing something that is light, doing something, just surrendering, right? And just allowing the divine to come in and really take over. So you don't have to do anything at all, because you are that. You are divine. I did another video on that. You are divine. You are divine. And that doesn't mean we're not in human bodies and we don't have pain and struggles and, all of that. But it's not about that. That will happen. Absolutely, that's going to happen in your life. But it's how are you going to respond to it, right? So just a reminder, you don't need anything outside of yourself. And again, if you have something going on and, if it's an emergency, definitely go to the hospital. Like, I'm not telling people not to go and get the treatment that they need when they need it. If there's Western medicine excels at emergency care, and do that. But also it can be a fine line, right? It can be a fine line of like, oh my God, I'm in so much pain, I just want help. And then like, okay, well, what's my body telling me? Anyway, I could talk about this for a long time, because it's been 20 years of my life, more really, and so I just wanted to share that. You are everything. You are everything.